Holy crap, now this is what I'm talking about. Episode 2 of Season 2 of Black Mirror, titled White Bear, is an absolute favorite of mine, and it definitely picks up after the slow start of Season 2. It's about a woman named Victoria waking up one morning with no memory of her life leading up to that moment. She awakens in a society where a strange signal has taken over humanity. She's immediately being hunted by an unknown menace, and she teams up with another survivor, and their adventure begins as they try to figure out what the hell's going on. For my quick review, I'd say that this episode is fantastically paced, with plenty of action-packed moments, and thanks to some stellar acting from Lenora Krishlow, you really feel the anxiety that Victoria is feeling and the strangeness of the world that she's thrust in. The unsteady camera work and general direction of this episode really helps with its fast-paced tone. Overall, I think it's a great episode that picks up after Season 2's lackluster start, and I definitely recommend checking it out. And now for the spoiler review and analysis portion of this video, so if you haven't seen the episode, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, go! Not really much to say in terms of spoilers because this episode is pretty straightforward, except for the ending, so let's just hop right into that. It turns out there is no signal, and there never was. In fact, humanity is doing just fine, and it was actually all part of some theme park type experiment that you could take your kids to and have some fun on your weekend while also punishing criminals. How fun. Throughout the episode, Victoria has flashbacks of some girl who you assume is her daughter and some guy who you assume is her husband. The flashbacks get more and more intense and incriminating as the episodes continue until it is revealed that she is in fact a criminal who murdered that girl and was sentenced to this prison, codenamed White Bear, where she's forced to replay the same day over and over again, wiping her memory and starting over again. So, in actuality, what we see in this episode is just one spin of the wheel, one go of the cycle. It's a really morbid and messed up episode with a grim outlook on how future punishments for criminals could go. This episode kind of splits you morally. On one hand, it makes you think, does she really deserve this harsh and inhumane punishment? But then you remember the horrendous crime she committed, and in a way, it makes you side with the people behind the whole idea in the first place. I feel like this episode has a fantastic response to those viewers who would watch the first 15 minutes of an episode and immediately dismiss it as pretentious and preachy. I only say that because I did exactly that. This was my personal introduction to the show, and I immediately disliked it because I thought it was hitting me over the head with its message of, this society is stuck on their phones, does it look familiar? But after the ending and the twist, I realized that that was sort of the intent. The bait and switch worked really well, and it further elevates what I think of this episode. It toys with your expectations before literally pulling back the curtain and showing you what's really going on. I think what I like most about this episode is that there isn't really any hints as to what's going on. Well, I'm not really counting the visions and flashbacks she has because they more or less throw you off the scent and they make you think that you're getting hints and little tidbits as to how her life was in the past. So unless you're extremely skeptical or you're a wizard or something, you're going to be following these characters through their journey and going through everything as they do. I have to point out how great the performances are in this episode. Victoria steals the show by being excellent and panicking, and I feel like we would all be like that if we were stuck in a situation like this. And the way that people act so nonchalantly about this punishment tells me a few things. One, that this form of punishment has been going on for a long time, and that any sort of sympathy or laws of ethics for these criminals is gone. And two, that it's mostly just a fun weekend activity that most families look forward to, much like a trip to Disneyland nowadays. Which really messed with me in that this society has really become like that. In a way, it's a kind of a commentary on how humanity can do something that's so inhumane, and if they add a righteous enough reason for doing it, then they'll make everyone accept it. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode and feel like it's the best episode to show to someone who has never seen Black Mirror. I feel like White Bear picks up the slack of Be Right Back and brings a lot of momentum to Season 2. Only for another episode to bring it right back down again. Until next time.